All rise. Oyez, the Oklahoma County Commission of the County of Putnam is now sitting in regular session to transact all business required of it by law or any other business may come before it at this time. Now the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brian?
Gentlemen, I have your edit registers for your signature so we can pay the bills. Also, I'd like to remind the public and everyone that the voter registration deadline is April 19th. So we need those in by midnight of April 19th to put on the voter registration rolls for the primary election, which is May 10th. And also, I would like to remind everybody that early voting starts on April 27th. And runs through May 7th. April 27th is the Wednesday, and we'll run through that Saturday. We'll be having early voting here in the courtroom, as well as over at Valley Park Community Center. The Valley Park Community Center will not be available on that Saturday, that first Saturday. So that first week we'll only be doing early voting here from 9 to 5 on that Saturday. But the second week will be from Monday through Saturday, both places here and at the Valley Park for the whole duration. So 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, except for on Thursdays, we're open until 7. And then on Saturdays, we're 9 to 5 is our hours there. Let's see, early voting, and then obviously Election Day is May 10th, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. are the voting hours. We'll be hosting tomorrow. We'll have our first poll worker training for election workers. We're always looking for election workers. We're in need of Democrat election workers to keep our balance of one Republican, one Democrat at the ballot box, and one Democrat, one Republican at the books where you sign up at. So if there's any Democrats out there who's willing to become a poll worker, please let us know soon so that way we can get you involved in the training. And we'll have training tomorrow, and then we'll have training on Wednesday of next week, as well as training on Thursday of next week. And there's morning classes, afternoon classes, and evening classes available. So anybody that's interested, please contact my office and let us know. We've been putting that out on Facebook. Been putting the countdown to the election on Facebook. We've been putting the vital dates, absentee deadlines, voting, registration deadlines, and different things like that on Facebook. So also would like to let you know that we're getting close to the finishing up of our redistricting process, and we had a big task on our hands here because they went from 100 delegate districts down to, or from 68 delegate districts to 100 delegate districts. That way they're single member districts. And when they did that, they followed census blocks rather than precinct lines. And that could be just so that way they don't, there's no, you're not reading into who are these types of voters and stuff like that to keep the politics out of it and stuff like that. By doing that, though, for us, it makes it a little more difficult because now we have to identify who's in these pods of people. They were in this precinct, now they need to be shifted to that precinct because that line moved over this way, a couple subdivisions or whatever it may be. And that's happened throughout the county. So those mailers will go out, if not by the end of this week, by next week. What the mailers will have in it will be a new voter registration card. It'll have their precinct number on there. That precinct number is important. It'll have early voting schedule in there. It'll have a letter explaining why they're receiving the new voter registration card. And then they will also have a diagram. So if you're assigned to precinct 6-1, then you could come over here and you can see that I'm Senatorial District 4, Delegate District 21, Magistrate District 3, Congressional District 1, and so forth. So that way they'll know what districts are in, so they know who they can educate themselves on so they can make a decision on who they want to vote for. but they'll get that in their packet as well when they receive their voter registration card. So those will go out next week. I'm expecting a lot of phone calls and a lot of, questions. But, it happens every 10 years. We have no say-so in it being done. It comes from the Washington on down. And so, they get it starts with the census. Obviously, the census was pushed back, which then give the legislature less time to do their part in preparing the congressional districts, Senate districts, delegate districts, and then obviously your opportunity at the very end there to handle the precincts, and basically put all the pieces back together again. So some people will be happy because they might be closer to a polling place. Some people might be mad because they're further away. But at the end of the day, we have no say-so but to follow those delegate lines, those Senate lines, and obviously congressional lines, the whole county. But we've got to follow those lines in order to make sure that we're all one, balanced, and two, nobody's voting outside the districts. So looking forward to that being over and getting on with the regular election duties. But you have any questions, comments, or concerns?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, Brian, on behalf of myself, the county commission, we appreciate all y'all's hard work. We know that it hasn't gone unnoticed. We know that during that redistricting, there's a lot of extra work that went into it, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. And I appreciate you saying that because I've got an excellent staff. I surround myself with good people, and without them, I couldn't do what they've worked long hours, nights, weekends, and sacrificed a lot from their families and stuff. To be honest with you, because but they understand what needs to be done, and they're always willing to do it. They just have such a good positive attitude about it, and I'm just blessed to have such a team I got. But thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the invoices as presented.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have our prior meeting minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the prior meeting minutes.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No erroneous assessments or combined divides. Personnel and payroll changes.
I'd like to make a motion for the personnel and payroll changes as presented.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Payment of bills.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner reports. Commissioner Ellis, do you have anything to report this time?
Yes, sir. I have a fire board meeting on Tuesday, the 19th at 6 o'clock. And on the last Parks meeting, the Parks Board decided to demolish the slide at the Valley Park. It's going to be torn down and sown grass, hopefully before Labor Day. It just got to where the
Memorial Day?
Memorial Day,
Okay.
not Labor Day, Memorial Day. It just got to the point to where the repairs outweighed the benefits. So that's going to happen, and I think we're going to get, hopefully we're going to get a sidewalk at the Valley Park to tie the parking lots together so that the elderly people can vote easier. But other than that, that's all I have.
Commissioner Foster?
We have a planning commission meeting April 19th at 7 p.m. Region 2 Workforce Development meeting today at 11. I'm on the personnel committee. We have to elect a new or hire a new director for that. And then the actual board meeting comes immediately after that.
The Development Authority is having an open house this evening from 4:30 to 6 at Area 34 to welcome our new executive director. I encourage everyone to stop by and meet her if you haven't had that opportunity. We'll also, on the 26th, there will be a Development Authority meeting and a Health Board meeting. And that also coincides with our County Commission meeting. So I've got to figure out how to be in 3 places at one time, but we'll go through that. At this time, is there anybody that would like to make a public comment on something that is not already on the agenda? Mr. Britt?
Good morning. Public comment. So we've got some stuff to address. I'm going to have it put on the agenda probably for the next committee meeting. There's essentially three things. One, we have a settlement that we need to ratify, in my opinion, with the Indo distributor. The total settlement for all of the entities in West Virginia would be $26 million. Keep in mind that would go into the formula that we had talked about previously, which is the next item that we would have to go over, the memorandum of understanding. We would have to have the commission approve a resolution and ratify this memorandum of understanding. Essentially, it is a formula to explain where the money goes and how it is paid out. I would note that this formula has been drafted heavily by the Attorney General's office, Attorney General Morrissey's staff, and he have essentially come up with a plan to, in our opinion, make sure that the mistakes that were created and made during the tobacco litigation aren't repeated. I think what I hear a lot about those mistakes is essentially several municipalities or several different groups got a chunk of money. There was very little direction. There was a lot of misallocation, as I would call that, not just in West Virginia, but across the country. And so this formula is an attempt to learn from what we saw decades ago or a decade or so ago in the tobacco litigation. And the final issue that we'll have to resolve is we have some discovery responses that will need to be ratified and verified by the county commission. I would note that most of our responses are canned. There's not anything that is going to be, in my opinion, controversial, and we're going to verify that the answers are true and accurate to the best of our knowledge. And so I don't think there's anything too difficult with that. I think the main thing I wanted to do was to essentially come today to put it on give a heads up, so to speak. I'm going to get the actual documents to the county attorney, Mr. Fry, and that way we can have at least a week to go over these. If there's any questions and back and forth that we need to have, we can do that. And if there's any issues, I know this is probably a better time because we have a commission meeting next week and I believe the week after. And so that way, if there's any concerns or questions, we can address them. If there's any issues, we can deal with them. I believe the deadline, the only thing that is urgent is the Indo settlement. That document would need to be dealt with before the beginning of June. So I don't think we have any significant time restraints, but I tend to try and get these things resolved sooner than later. But again, I'll have all those documents in Word form to the county today, and we'll put that on the agenda the appropriate way by the next committee meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Pritt.
Thank you all. Have a good morning.
Thank you.
We have state settlements and fiduciary orders.
Yes, I just need a motion to authorize the president to sign off on the estate settlements and fiduciary orders.
I'll make a motion to authorize the commission president to sign off on the estates and fiduciary orders as presented.
Second?
Got a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jeremy, any budget revisions?
I do. We have 4 budget revisions. First one is Department 401, County Commission, increase advertising and legal publications by $1,500, decrease maintenance repair auto $175, decrease contracted services $195, decrease materials and supplies by $1,000, and decrease capital outlay equipment by $130.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget revisions as presented.
Second?
Got a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Next one is Department 711, Office of Emergency Management. The order is to increase materials and supplies by $300.54, increase advertising by $200, decrease uniforms by $100.54, decrease auto supplies by $200, and decrease travel by $200.
Make a motion to approve the as presented.
Second?
Got a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next order is from Department 712, which is 911. This pertains to doing away with the part-time employees, which we have to move some money around due to that. First line item is to decrease capital outlay building by $10,000, increase capital outlay equipment by $10,000, decrease part-time employee wages by $50,000, increase full-time employees overtime by $50,000, decrease part-time employee wages by $10,000, and increase full-time employee wages by $10,000, and decrease travel by $500, increase printing by $500.
To make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
Got a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the last one is Department 715 EMS, decrease contracted services by $4,800 and increase building rent by $4,800.
Like to make a motion as presented.
Second?
Got a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You have anything else at this time?
I've got orders, but I can do those at the end of the meeting.
Okay. We have agency board interviews. Mr. Troffer is here. I'll entertain a motion to go to executive session.
Make a motion that we go into executive session.
For the purpose of interviewing?
Yes, for the purpose of interviewing David Troffer.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.